Hello, my name is Carlin Snipes, Field Vice President for the Broad Market at Pacific Life. Thank you for joining me today to learn more about our virtual coffee talk opportunity. 2020 was a crazy year. We had an election, we fought a pandemic, and worst of all, it brought me closer to my 50th birthday. When you look back at 2020, you will see we have all learned a ton, and one of the biggest aha moments for me, the one that really stands out, is that when I look at the sales results for our industry, for life insurance carriers, for you, we can exist virtually. And the exciting part is we have learned that consumers are willing to buy virtually. So it really is up to carriers like us, like Pacific Life, to make sure we're helping you bridge that gap between you and your clients. Something else I've learned, which is kind of interesting, during a pandemic, consumers tend to get real curious about life insurance. One stat I heard related to Google. Google searches for life insurance actually increased by 5 times during 2020. Another study said that of all the financial products that are offered, the 2 products consumers have shown increased interest in are long-term care insurance as well as life insurance. One other thing that jumped out at me were the concerns of financial advisors. The number one concern on the list was how to maintain a client relationship during market volatility and pandemic concerns. Number 2 on the list is how am I going to build my business virtually? With today's presentation, I hope to address both of these concerns. Imagine if you had a system that could virtually place yourself in the comfort of the client's home, sitting across from them with a cup of coffee, being able to educate and talk with them about subjects that they are already proactively seeking out in today's environment. That is exactly what Pacific Life's virtual coffee break is designed to do. Here are a few disclosures for your review. Here's how it works. First thing we do is we sit down with you to identify a list of clients by segmenting your book of business by age, demographics, risk tolerance. And what we're trying to do is create a list that we think would present the best opportunity to have a dialogue around life insurance. Then what happens is this invitation that you see on the screen would get sent out to your clients to invite them to join you for a virtual coffee break. The topic of the conversation would be things you need to know for life insurance planning. The invite can be co-branded with your company's logo. The invitation will be sent out 2 to 3 times in a 2-week period, reminding the client of the upcoming meeting. Once your client receives the invitation, they will need to input their name, email address, and their advisor's name in order to register for the webinar. The optional question will be for them to enter their physical address. Once your client has completed the registration, they will receive the pictured confirmation email. We will provide you with a list of registered attendees. Also, the registered attendees will receive 3 reminder emails about the webinar. One reminder will go out 1 week before the webinar. The second reminder will be sent 1 day prior to the webinar. And finally, the third reminder will go out to the attendees' email 1 hour prior to the webinar. Once the attendees have logged into the virtual coffee break, they will see this screen on their monitor. When you start the meeting, the first slide that the attendees will see will provide details on the presenter, in this case, me. I'm Carlin Snipes. I'm the Field Vice President with Pacific Life. You can reach me at 434-444-1553 or at my email at carlin.snipes@pacificlife.com, as well as you can access my LinkedIn profile. I've worked in the financial services industry for over 26 years. I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts with Political Science major at Virginia Tech. I reside in Leesburg, Virginia, and I really enjoy college football, reading, and sci-fi and fantasy movies. One thing we have found is people like to know about the company they're doing business with. This slide just provides the attendees details about Pacific Life. At Pacific Life, putting customers first has allowed us to serve families and businesses successfully for over 150 years. As part of a mutual holding company structure, we have no publicly traded stock, so we can focus on long-term strategies, financial strength, and the best interests of our policyholders. I do not receive many questions regarding our financials because consumers are very familiar with the Pacific Life brand. If you've ever watched college football, you have seen the whale launch itself out of the water many times, especially on halftimes. We are financially strong as reflected in our Comdex score of 93, which means we're in the top 7% of all life insurance carriers rated by the 4 independent rating agencies you see listed here. We're in the longevity business. Our strength represents a promise to be there when you need us. Here's a little more information regarding the history of Pacific Life and how we have treated our policyholders in good and bad times. One of the things we're particularly proud of in our history is of our in-force policy owner treatment. We pass along more than 125 policy improvements since 1985, resulting in $425 million in policyholder savings. Life insurance is a long-term commitment. The company you choose does matter. Consider before you buy how a life insurance carrier has treated the clients who bought before you. Starting here and for the next 8 slides is where you will see we're really going to be getting into the meat of the conversation with the attendees. There's never been a better time than today to talk about policy review. Policy review has been a hot topic for a long time, but given the COVID situation that we are in today, the consumer interest with regard to life insurance is at an all-time high. People are talking about life insurance. They're thinking about their life insurance needs. Do I have enough coverage? What kind of policy do I currently own? Consumers are looking for opportunities and they want to hear from their financial advisor. From an advisor's perspective, we're all looking for ways to engage with our clients, ways to touch base with our clients. And now is a great opportunity to do exactly that with policy review. The opportunity to sell life insurance has never been greater than it is today. When you look at the stats in the industry, what you're going to find is that statistically, half of the United States, half of the consumers out there do not own any life insurance. Only 59% of American households own any type of life insurance. Included in this 59% is group life insurance. This means 40% of American households have absolutely no life insurance coverage. Those that do own life insurance are dramatically underinsured. The average insurance gap is over $200,000. And with high-income households, the gap is over $400,000. If you can look at all industry stats, whether they come from LYMRA or other types of studies, they all come back with the consumers having a favorable opinion of life insurance. 86% believe life insurance is good, and almost 70% believe everyone should own some life insurance. The consumer's viewpoint is life insurance is good and everyone should own it. The problem is, as an industry, we've done a really bad job of reaching out to the mass market to distribute and market death protection products. When you look at the country, it is amazing when you think about this. Our business is not saturated at all. Half of the country is an opportunity for us. They do not even own our product. The other half that does own the product is dramatically underinsured. The total coverage gap is $12 trillion, and that gap is growing at a rate of $340 billion a year. We can provide you with infographics that you can share with your clients to build your case about the need for policy review. The demand for our product has never been higher, and think about it, the cost to acquire these products has never been lower. For those of you that have been in the industry for 20 years or more, think about what term insurance used to cost 20 years ago, or 25, or 30 years ago. Think about how ridiculously inexpensive term insurance is today. In fact, a male can go buy a 20-year term for $1 million a face for less than what he spends on his daily cup of coffee. It is amazing. Policy review is not just a way for finding new sales opportunities or selling more life insurance or replacing existing coverages. It's really about how you develop and foster a relevant and meaningful and successful relationship with your client. How do you do that? And not just develop the relationship with your client, but with their family members as well, your client's beneficiaries. Ultimately, when you develop these types of relationships, you position yourself in the role of a trusted advisor, not only to your client, but to their family as well. This is what policy review can do for you. Create relationships with your client and their family members, the next generation, to have an enduring relationship that will last years and hopefully then grow a very successful practice for you. The odds are your clients or someone very near to your clients are facing a current life insurance coverage gap. Consider that at least 1 in 3 U.S. households, it would take just 1 month to feel the financial impact of the primary income earner's death. It doesn't have to be a difficult process to begin. Start with your client's needs. Your client can tell you how much coverage they need, but we offer many tools, all of which they can access on our website at pacificlife.com. An important thing to remember is that your client's needs can and likely will change over time. This can be for a variety of reasons, like the one shown here in the chart to the right. That's why it's important to periodically review what coverage the client needs, and also what policy they already have if they already own life insurance. Doing this is a policy review. One place to start is finding out what type of life insurance your clients may need. And yes, there's more than one type. The first question to ask yourself is, how long do you need the coverage? The next question is, what's your budget? Term life insurance premiums are lower than premiums you will pay for the same coverage in a cash value life insurance policy. But cash value life insurance can have some features you may not be aware of. Although both term and cash value life insurance offer a tax-free death benefit, only cash value life insurance offers tax-deferred growth potential and may provide supplemental income with tax-free loans and withdrawals from the policy's cash value. Please note that not all life insurance has cash value. Some policies are designed for affordability for clients seeking primarily death benefit protection. To determine what type of policy you have and to learn more about its features and benefits, and most importantly, to make sure it's keeping up with your needs, it's important to meet periodically with your financial professional and conduct a policy review. In a policy review, your financial professional will work with you to complete the following 3 steps. First, review your existing life insurance coverage. Is it still appropriate? Is it meeting your current needs? Second, assess impact of recent life changes to determine if any adjustments are required. And lastly, review and evaluate the cost of effectiveness of your coverage. Is it the best value? Does it align with your budget? Should you consider switching? By virtually meeting with your client for a policy review, you're providing top-notch customer service. We all want to be able to pride ourselves on delivering the highest levels of service that will help to stand us apart from our competition. You want to provide that experience, and policy review is part of that process. You can identify underperforming policies. I see that often. I go back to when my own dad bought me an old whole life policy that he'd had with State Farm. He was paying $500 a year on the policy, but State Farm had come back to him and asked for an increased premium of $3,500 a year. So what did I do? I did a policy review with my dad, and with some shopping, we decided to replace the whole life policy with a GUL because Dad was not looking for cash value and he didn't want to pay that $3,500 annually. So he went into a GUL with a lifetime guarantee for a cost of $1,200 annually, and it actually bought him more coverage than he was getting with that $3,500 premium. So again, simple policy review resulted in a better policy for the need. What are some of the key benefits that your client will realize as a result of policy review? They'll be better informed. They'll have knowledge of the types of policies that they own and why they own them. They'll know what their coverage costs are, the company that they're insured by, and how to keep their policy on track. Also, how to file a claim if needed. You can review and update beneficiaries. You can calculate your life insurance need and discuss recent life events such as marriage, new home, new job, or new financial obligations. Identify and correct underperforming or inappropriate policies before it's too late. Consider advancements in product design, underwriting efficiencies, tax laws, and more. Get peace of mind knowing that their existing coverages are appropriate and doing what they intended for them to accomplish, or provide you the ability to add existing coverage with a new policy. Lastly, if your client already has a term life insurance policy, there are some critical factors they should ask themselves at least once each year, because term covers you for a specific time frame, not your entire life. How long is your coverage? What is your policy's expiration date? What is your conversion option? How much is the face amount of the policy? Does this match your needs? How many years do you need protection? Does your policy match this time frame? How much are you paying for this policy? Have you comparison shopped your policy? Does your policy allow you to convert it to a cash value policy? And if so, what are the guidelines? Once your guarantee period ends, what do the renewal rates look like? Will the policy stay in force for as long as intended? Do you know where your policy is located? And do your beneficiaries know where this policy is located? Do you know the risk classification your policy was issued with? Has your health changed for better or worse since the policy was issued? How about the financial ratings and financial status of the issuing company? If your client owns a cash value life insurance policy, Their policy's accumulated cash value can impact both premiums and the coverage and the policy's underlying values. In addition to the coverage questions covered on the prior slide, here are key things to review at least annually for owners of cash value life insurance policies. What type of policy do you have? Variable, universal life, guaranteed universal life, indexed universal life, whole life? Do you own the right kind or don't know? What was the purpose of the policy? Death protection, accumulation, or both? What is the maturity date of your policy? How much are you paying for this policy? Have you comparison shopped your policy? Do you have any accumulated monies or cash values in the policy? Have you reviewed them lately? Has your company or financial professional provided you with a projection of your policy's performance? Are you aware of the internal charges, i.e. cost of insurance, charges, etc.? What is the interest crediting strategy on your policy? What are your minimum guarantees? Have you taken any loans or withdrawals from the policy? If so, do you know the impact of the performance of the policy? Does your policy allow you to access the death benefit to help pay for chronic illness needs? In closing, life insurance can be a potentially lifelong relationship with the carrier who issues the policy. The company you choose matters. Pacific Life has over 150 years of strength and stability. We are a mutual company that's committed to the best interest of our policyholders, and we have a history of innovation and best-in-class service. If you've been intrigued by any of the topics covered today, please set up a follow-up appointment with your financial professional. They can go over your options with you and help to make sure you have the best coverage and you can get the price you need. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.